Okay, so now that we've got the template page, I'm going to go to File and Save As. I'm going to save it as index, which you can see I've already done. Ready to start making my home page. You might want to save it as home, but index is the correct name. Either is fine. So now that I've got my home page, which looks just like the template page, which it should, I'm ready to start adding some information. So what I need to do first of all is in this properties bar, as you can see the cursor there in the middle of the text box, I want it up at the top. So if you've accidentally closed that, go to Window and Properties, and that will bring up your properties bar again, and where it says vertical default, I'm going to change that to top. Now in my Fortunes folder there's an info file. For you in your exam this will be a Word file. For me here in this example it's just a text file, but when I open it up you can see I've got some information. Now your Word file will be more detailed than this. You've seen examples in class. Your job is to look for the most important home page style information and pop it onto the home page. So you've seen in class different examples, like where we've done, for example, the Glastonbury website. You had a lot more information than this. So on my home page I'm going to highlight what I think is the appropriate text. Okay, I'm going to right click and copy, and then right here in Dreamweaver right click and paste. Okay, now hopefully you'll put more text on your homepage than this. You can add to it yourself if you wish, but for this example there we go, it's in. Now I can, if I want to, highlight that text and change the font and change the size and even change the colour. Just remember, any choices you make like that need to remain the same on every single page, so choose wisely. For this example I'm going to leave it just as it is. Next I'm going to focus on putting some images in the image sections. So going over to my Fortunes folder and into images, okay, there'll be lots of images to choose from. Now hopefully you know from your lessons that some of these images are not to be used. They don't fit the theme. So whilst these, there we go, so I'm looking at them in view and large icon mode just so I get an idea of what the images look like. Okay, some of these ones up here are not appearing particularly well at the moment, which is fine. I can open them up and look at them if I wish. But for my home page, okay, I'm going to just remind myself what the client brief says. It's a community radio station. It's run by volunteers aimed at the local community. So what images do I have here that might be suitable? Well, perhaps images of presenters presenting a radio show might be suitable. Maybe the logo, maybe the on-air mic, pictures that link to the theme. Something here about volunteers, although that might come up on a separate page. So on my home page I think I'm going to have a picture of one of the presenters, which I'm going to drag into that box there, and I think I'm also going to have a picture of perhaps an artist who might have featured on the radio station. So I'll drag and drop that picture into the bottom box. Okay, so you can see now I've got my text box, I've got my two images, and what would be really nice now is to see what this page looked like if it was in Internet Explorer. So I'm going to go to File and Save, and then back to my Fortunes folder, where if I open up the index page I should get an idea of what it's looking like so far. Your job throughout the exam is to make sure that the website is always looking good, so it's important that you take a moment to preview and look at your page. Now at the moment this doesn't look fantastic. The pictures don't quite sit where I want them to, and aren't quite as perfect as I would like, so I can go back to Dreamweaver, I can make some changes. One of the things I don't like is this picture here. It doesn't sort of sit nicely in the box. So if I click here you can see vertical default. If I change that to top the picture moves up. If I click on the picture I can resize it, which we've talked about before, make it fit a bit more nicely in the box. Now that's pixelated so it looks terrible, so I'm going to go to edit and undo, and what I'll do is I'll leave it at that size instead. But instead what I'll do is, if I just click in the box again, horizontal, I'll set it to the center so it's in the middle of that box. That leaves me the option to insert another image underneath if I wish. This picture here is a little bit better because it's a nicer size. So again I'm just clicking inside the box, just trying to get off the picture if I can. If I can't, I'm going to resize it a little bit just so that I can click, because you might notice that what I'm trying to do here is to be able to just click, not the image, but I need to get those options back just down here. So I just seem to be having a few problems with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the image so that I can access the box, and again I'm going to choose the middle vertical, the middle horizontal, and then if I go back to my folder, back into images, and then get that excellent presenter image again, which was just here. If I drag it into the box now, it sits a bit more in the centre. Okay, so I've got my two images. I can always insert another one here if I wish, or if I want I could change that picture for one that's a little bit bigger or fits more nicely. But I've started to create a home page. I'm getting images in, I've got text in, and I'm using the same style of page that I was using before. I can always come back to that and keep improving it and keep adding things, but remember, in your exam you want to spend about 10 minutes on a page and then move on to the next one. And to start the next one, I'll go back to my brief. The next one's the volunteers page, so it's back to Dreamweaver, it's back to template, and it's file, it's save as. We save the next page as volunteers, and we begin page 2, always knowing that we can pop back to page 1 to see what we did if we need to.